What's up? How you doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. Today we're going to be talking all about Instant Eye Palette Smoky Eyes Are Forever by Charlotte. I know, I already have my palette here with me. I am going to be creating 2 makeup looks with the palette. I'm going to be doing tons of comparisons within her line, and yeah, I'll let you know if I feel like you need this palette in your life or not. This is your first time passing by. I'm Gigi. I am a nurse. I am obsessed with luxury makeup. I love to haul, review, and do first impressions. If you love that kind of thing, go ahead and click on the red button that says subscribe. And also go to my Instagram because over there I do keep you posted on the newest and the latest. Without further ado, let's start. Alright, my friends, so let's get started. And oh my goodness, I am so excited. I know what you're thinking, girl, how do you have that palette already? And it's just so fast. I get a really nice turn around when it comes to her page. This is this palette yesterday at 7 a.m. when I woke up, and today by 8:30 it was already at my door. She must be my neighbor. I always mention this. That's how I get things fast. I don't know how. Don't ask me how. I'm not sure. I live in Toronto. If you are too, maybe you can get lucky as well. But anyhow, I have the palette already here, and this is her holiday palette. So she did this with last year's palette as well, with the Bejeweled palette. I remember she's like, okay, I'm gonna give you a 48 hours a link to access the palette. Once the 48 hours are up, then it's gonna be gone and it's gonna come back for the holidays. And she indeed kept that word. I was so shocked. I thought it was gonna be one of her marketing things, but no. If you want this palette and you want it early, you need to purchase it now, because then it's gonna come back later around holidays, and you know may not get your hands on it. I must say that these palettes do stick around for a while. I think she's making big batches already, because she says they're limited edition, but you're usually able to find them even later, on her side. But anyhow, Instant Eye Palette Smoky Eyes Are Forever retails for 95 Canadian, 75 US dollars. And she says, a secret to superstar late eyes with new limited edition Instant Smoky Eye Duo. Don't miss out on my 48 hours drop exclusively on charlottetilbury.com. This duo includes my new Instant Eye Palette in Smoky Eyes Are Forever and free mini eye blender brush. This palette features 12 magical shades to create 4 hypnotic superstar late smoky eye looks. So when it comes to these larger palettes, she gives you like rolls of 3, so you can create a look with any of these 3. Of course, you can always dip back and forth all shades as you please, but at the back she gives you 1, 2, 3 prime, enhance, smoke, and that means that you can use 1, 2, 3 going down, 1, 2, 3 going down, and so forth and so on, to achieve a really easy look. So these palettes are very user friendly. I always mention this in my videos, but when it comes to her eyeshadows, this is the best value you can get within her brand. If you go with one of her luxury palettes, which is the 4-pen palette, you're paying over $50 for 4 shadows. In here you get 12 and you paid $75. We're talking all US price, but converted to Canadian is going to be roughly the same. This palette, it retailed for $95, which is her usual. I remember last year that's what I paid. And then she's throwing this little brush this time around, which I already showed you. So this is really handy, to be honest. I didn't use it too much because I kept forgetting, and I do apologize, but I have to say that it's really soft, very nice. It is a blending brush. So in comparison, if you wanted to see a size, so this is my Sonia G Blender Pro. They're very similar, just Charlotte is a little bit more longer, but they're very similar when it comes to how packed they apply the product. This is extremely soft. It is a synthetic brush. So now I do want to move on to the 2 looks that I created. I did a one more pinky smoky eye and then a green smoky eye as well. So let's go ahead and go into a tutorial, and then we'll come back for swatches, comparisons, and all that good stuff. So let's begin. And I think for today's 2 looks, I wanted to stick to the greens for one look, and maybe a little bit of pinkish, but make it smoky. So I think I'm gonna use Confidence and Power Eyes. It may dip a little bit on the other shades, so we can try them all together. very excited, very excited. And I'm gonna start off with this cool tone green in this Power Eyes set, and it looks like a green color. I'm gonna take a Referal number 14, and I'm going to mainly concentrate that shade on my outer V and run it a little bit across towards my whole crease area. And you can see this is a really pretty greenish brown kind of color, really good for something neutral on your outer V if that's what you're looking for. Then I'm gonna move on to the other green, the other deepest green, and I'm gonna take that shimmer and put it closer to the center of my lid. And I'm using the same brush. I'm just gonna pat it here. I feel like I want a more packed color, then I'm gonna go ahead, look at this green olive goodness. Just gonna pack it with my finger. I'm gonna wet my MAC G42 and I'm going to apply the green shade, the lightest in that bunch, and I'm gonna apply it all over my inner corner towards the center of my lid. This is applying very pigmented. I'm gonna hit him just with my brush. Going back into the deepest green shade, and I'm just blending those two where they meet. And I'm going back to my Referal and again to my outer V shade. I'm just gonna blend all edges around here. I'm gonna take that same color and just run it on my lower lash. And I almost forgot the brush that came in the palette, which is a little guy blending brush like this. It's actually quite soft, so I'll use it for the next look. But I wanted to, what was I gonna do? I'm gonna highlight my brow bone, so I'm gonna be using this cream shade here, and I'm gonna clean the edges with this color as well. So I think that's it for the green look. Then we'll finish with eyeliner and things. So now I am going to take another Referal 14, which is clean. And I'm gonna go into Confident Eyes, which is the brown shade here. And I am lightly, because it looks pigmented, I'm gonna apply it in my outer V and bring it towards my crease area. This is a really dark brown, so I'm thinking I want to dip into the same Power Eyes brown that I applied in this outer V. So that's what I took a little bit of it, and I'm gonna bring that shade all over my inner corner. Now I am going to apply this pink shade in the confident eyes, and I'm going, oh, this pink is really calling. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna apply it with my fingers like so. I'm just patting that shade in, and I have long nails, so I am going to take, I cleaned up my brush that I was using, the 242, and I'm not gonna wet my brush yet. I'm gonna apply it like this, and then I may go ahead and wet it. And then for my inner corner, I think I'm gonna go with this pinky shade here. It's also a pinkish, just light pink shade to highlight. Oh, look at that pink, goodness. That's pretty. Really opened up my eye. I think they go well together. And you see, for this eye, I didn't apply anything wet, and I again forgot to use the brush. You guys didn't remind me. I'm sorry, having a lot of pregnancy brain these days. Anyways, just blending these two together. I'm actually gonna use the brush. We need to use the brush. Where did it go? It's here. So I'm gonna go into the brown one more time, and I'm gonna just, you know, blend my outer V, deepen it out a little bit because I wanted to make it smoky, and just blend everything in place. This is the first brush from her that I tried. I haven't tried her brushes. It is quite soft and nice. When applied that confident brown all over my lower lash, let me highlight my brow bone with that cream light shade. I'm gonna take a little bit of black because I said I wanted to make these a little bit more smoky. So I'm gonna dip into this tiny brush, just grab a little bit of it, and I'm gonna stay close to my lash line. When there is a black in the palette, I usually like a black or a brown in the palette. I usually like to just wet a brush and then use it as liner. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to take this tiny brush by Sigma, the E06. I'm going to wet it, and I'm going to do a wing liner. I'm going to do a black on this eye and maybe a brown on the other one. Alright friends, you were able to see the palette in action and my first impressions on them. I had zero issue with any of the shades that I used. I didn't use the Happy Eyes coppery side, but other than that I dipped into everything else and it aligns to her quality. Very creamy, very blendable. Her mattes are amazing in here. Her shimmers are really pretty. My goodness, are they so soft. I love to apply my shimmers with my fingers, as I mentioned, because I feel like you get the most you know, from the shimmers. I love that you get a really deep brown here and a deep black. Is this a super smoky palette? I don't think so, but I guess if you are going to use the brown and the black in every single look, then you can make anything smoky, right? And then mix and match as you please. I love the color story, to be quite honest. I feel like this is really up my alley. If you're a neutral lover, this is gonna be for you. Now, we're gonna move on to swatches, and I'm gonna do some as live swatches. Even though it takes me a little bit longer to edit, I do want to make sure that you see the pigmentation live. So we're gonna go into Love Eyes, which is the first row. So I'm gonna do cream shade, then the middle shade, and then the other one. So you can see how creamy and soft they are. I have pretty much nothing left on my fingers from the shimmers. That's how you know something is very creamy. Everything just transferred to my swatch. So I'm gonna move on to the next row, which is Power Eyes. So this is the brown. Look how soft, look how pretty. These shades, they just glide. They're very pigmented, very creamy and soft. I'm gonna stop moving my hand so the camera can focus. So this is what we got so far going on. Look at those greens, very pigmented. Same story, nothing left on my fingers to really wipe off, which is amazing. Then we have Happy Eyes, and I did apply a little bit of Happy Eyes at the end on my green look. I felt like I needed a little bit more, but oh wow, these are so soft to the touch. I think so. Look at that pigmentation. It is beautiful. This combo of copper shades are also very pretty. And last but not least, we have Confident Eyes, which is the pinky shade, the brown, and the black. So black, swatching a little bit patchy. With blacks, you have to be really careful, you know, when it comes to application. But the brown swatch is quite nice. Beautiful shimmers, beautiful color story in my opinion. Very complimentary. It's so pretty. So now let's move on to some comparisons. I know not everyone collects her palettes. If you ask me which one of the palettes that I have from her, the longer palettes, I like the most, I'm gonna say this one, to be honest, and I'm gonna tell you why in just a second. Pillow Talk is just very pinky palette. So if you're into pinks like I am, I love pinks, then you're gonna like it. But this is just very pink. I feel like in this palette you get a lot of variety. When I first saw it, it's really you know, reminded me of her Starry Eyes to Hypnotize. This is a palette that she previously released. I believe this is 2018, and this is what it looks like. It is a very soft, very pretty, but I feel like ever since she's reformulated her shadows, they're becoming better and better. I feel like after the Bejewel, we are getting a better quality when it comes to these longer palettes. So the green shades in here, I'm gonna show you, they look similar, but they're not as shimmery as those ones. So I'm gonna do a green here and the other one here. Very similar, very similar shades. So you can see very similar shades. You get, as I said, that green and that deep green. They're pretty much the same shadow. They're exactly the same, but I feel like this green from the newer palette is better. It's a little bit more shiny. You get a little bit more bling. It's not as, you know, toned down as in the Starry Eyes. So when it comes to this other roll, which is the Love Glow, it is the same story. It is very similar to this other one. Well, I guess not too much, but a little bit coppery, but look at that copper and look at that copper. So her previous palettes, they're just not the same quality as the newest ones that she's released. Let's talk about the Bejeweled. This was my favorite palette from her so far. I love Dream Glow, which I feel like is a little bit similar to the pink in here. Oh no, that's a purple. So I love that she included some purples in this palette. You get a beautiful brown. I don't think you have many similar shades, to be honest. Yeah, they're not really similar shade by shade, but if you go digging, you know, shades here, you go digging here, and you take one or two from Pillow Talk, you're going to have this one. But I repeat, I repeat, they're just not the same quality shadows that we used to see from her. So if you had these and you're wondering if, you know, you need it, I feel like it is different enough besides the green where you are going to, you know, enjoy this palette as well. So I feel like she did an amazing job. I think that she did a great job with this palette. Quality is there, pigmentation is there. You don't get any of those very strong shades as she included in Fire Rose, if you know what I'm talking about. You don't get anything like that here, but her shimmers here are so soft, and the mattes are very beautiful. So very happy with this palette, no complaints. I love the added mini brush. Good job, Charlotte. I also brought her Green Lights Luxury palette so that I can show you against the greens in here. Since I already have them swatched, I was just cleaning the top swatches. So in here you get beautiful shades as well. These are very shimmery and glittery, but it is not the same quality. Oh my god, look at that pretty shade. I love it. I love this green. This green quad by her is beautiful. Let's do the gold. So this is her Green Lights palette, just at top, and look at the green one at the bottom. So I do feel like they're very similar. Again, if you have Green Lights, you most likely have those two shades, not three but two shades already in your collection. But I mean, this is only 4 shadows out of 12. So as mentioned previously, these are very pricey. You are better off with her lighter palettes for sure. You can already tell I'm obsessed with this palette. I feel like it's a beautiful, very lovely. I love the shades. I love the color story. I love her quality in these larger palettes. I love the price of them. These gets 9 out of 10 for me. I feel like I'm going to enjoy this palette quite a bit. I feel like this is gonna be one of my most used from her. Before was the Bejeweled palette. I kept mentioning that in my videos, but I feel like, yeah, if you're a warm and neutral lover, I feel like you're gonna love this one a little bit more, just like I do. Hey, look at this. This is very neutral, and in here you get some fun pop of colors. So I love that here she's given us a black and a deep brown. You don't get that in the Bejeweled, so you can really make anything smoky, if you please. Let me know, are you going to rush and pick up this palette, or are you just gonna wait for the holidays to pick it up? I would love to know. Also remember, my links are always in the description box. I'm gonna have a US, Canadian and UK link to go directly to her site. If you do use my link, I do make a small commission, but it helps me and my channel to continue to grow. So thanks so much, you guys, for your love and support. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.